Yeah. Okay, Ramlinga, it is working. So directly I will go to yesterday's topic, that is how to explain sp3 hybridization in water. Okay, right. And in ammonia. Can you see, Ramlinga, this slide?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Very good, very good. Now today it is very good. So Ramlinga is very active. Because of his activeness, laptop became active. Ah, yeah. Nitrogen 1s2, 2s2 and 2p3, because atomic number 7. And in the 2p, it is equal distribution 2p1, 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 depend upon the xyz. Okay. So, and I told this is sp3. Okay. So to justify that, this is already I am saying in advance that this is sp3 only. So to justify that, sometimes what they do, explain the hybridization in a particular molecule, you will ask, or he will give this molecule is sp3 or some hybridization type he will give, and you have to justify. So today what I am doing, I am saying in advance that ammonia is sp3. The only thing is I have to justify. Okay, I have to account. See here. That means one s orbital and three p orbitals have to undergo hybridization. That is, here nitrogen is undergoing hybridization, sp3 hybridization. Okay, so one s orbital, that is 2s, and three p orbitals, that is all the three 2p orbitals, they are undergoing hybridization. I am mixing here. So this is how we show on paper mixing. So after mixing, this is what sp3 hybrid orbitals. There are four sp3 hybrid orbitals. Out of four sp3, three are unpaired, one is paired. Okay, so this is what? So hybrid orbitals of nitrogen. So that is shown in the next slide here. See here. Okay, so this is nitrogen. Okay, nitrogen. So with three sp3 hybrid orbitals with the three hydrogen. Okay, and one is there, one lone pair that is there here. So because lone pair is there in the space in that region, okay, so by joining the imaginary line, so it looks like a tetrahedral. Okay, otherwise it's not a pure tetrahedral. It is triangular base with one pyramid, triangular pyramidal. So see, already has given pyramidal shape of ammonia, but looks like tetrahedral. So I think Ramalinga, it is clear yesterday's point.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Very good, very good. Okay, right. So now I'll go to water. Yesterday I told about water also. sp3 hybridization in water. Okay. So again, as usual, it is 1s2, 2s2, and what is the atomic number? It is 8. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. It is 2p4. So 2p4 is written as 2px2, 2py1, 2pz1. And because it is sp3 hybridization, so one s orbital and three p orbitals. One s is, that is 2s, and three p are what? 2px, 2py, 2p, all will undergo hybridization. That is what? sp3. 1s, 3p, sp3. And here are the four sp3 hybrid orbitals of what? In oxygen, it is the what? It is the in the water, it is the oxygen undergoing the sp3 hybridization. Okay, so here are the four sp3 hybrid orbitals of oxygen. Before hybridization, 1, 2, 3, 4. After hybridization, 1, 2, 3, 4. So condition is fulfilled. But here, out of four sp3 hybrid orbitals of oxygen, two are paired and two are unpaired. And these two unpaired are paired with two hydrogen atoms. Thereby, they go for the bonding. Then remaining two paired will remain as it is with the oxygen. That is shown here. That is shown here. Please here. So this is the 1, 2, 3, 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals of oxygen, pink color, reddish color. Okay, and two lone pair are made a bond with the two hydrogen. Okay, so this is what H2O explained. And but two what paired are there, no, supportive. part of hybridization. So they are like that only in the space. That's why by joining the image line, it looks like a tetrahedral, but it is actually bent structure. So HOH, like a V shape, bent structure, but we say it as a tetrahedral. So again, here also angle is slightly lesser than what we expect compared to the ammonia, because ammonia is pure sp3. Nitrogen with one lone pair repulsions are there, but water with two lone pair, more repulsions are there. So more the repulsion, more the shrinking. So bond angle definitely is lesser than the water ammonia, that we can explain. Okay. So right, very nice. So today it is looking beautiful slide. Now this is what carbon. So carbon as usual in the ground state, and carbon when you promote, so it becomes what? It becomes excited, 4 unpaired. So this is what one carbon with 4 sp3. This is another carbon with 4 sp3. This one we are discussing ethane. Yesterday we left there. Now today we are discussing with diagram sp3. So one sp3 carbon, one sp3 carbon together C2, because formula for ethane is C2S6. There are two carbon. So two carbon will undergo in this way overlapping. Okay, then sigma bond forms, and 3 sigma bond with 3 hydrogen this side, and 3 sigma bond with 3 hydrogen this side. Okay, so in this way totally 1 sigma bond, 3 this side, 3 this side, 3 plus 3, 6 plus 1, 7 sigma bonds. So totally here we have 7 sigma bonds are there in the case of ethane, and it is sp3. So two sp3 carbon atoms have joined and made a main framework, main skeletal, main bonding, that is sigma bonding. Okay, right. Now this is the case of what? Ethene yesterday. Okay. So in the ethene, number of hydrogen atoms are less. Therefore, a slight difference is there. So here it is in ground state. It is the excited state. Okay. Again, here what happens here? It is sp2. It is not sp3. It is sp2. One s orbital and only two p orbitals, because the number of H are less here. We don't want a third p orbital to go for the sp3 because we don't have the surplus hydrogen atoms as in the case of ethane. Here it is ethene, C2H4. It is H4. Okay, right. So therefore, it is what? sp2 hybridization, that is shown here. Okay, sp2. And these two hydrogen atoms will undergo with two hydrogen. Okay, this will undergo with the carbon-carbon sigma bond, that is shown next. Yeah. Carbon-carbon. This is sp2, triangular planar. So triangular planar, one triangle, if you join 1, 2, 3, this becomes a triangle. Okay. So triangular planar of one carbon and triangular planar of another carbon, sp2, sp2, and they will undergo hybridization, the bonding. So CC bond, first main bond is formed, sigma bond. Then because two electrons are free, one electron is free, okay, of both carbon atoms, they undergo sideway overlapping. That is the reason for pi bond here. Okay, right. Now here I am explaining sp hybridization in the case of ethine. Again, number of H are less. As the number of H are less, so number of p orbitals are also becoming less in the water hybridization. So this is what? This is sp hybridization. So this is a normal ground state. This is the excited state, and this is what? So one S and only one P. One S and only one P. Sp. Two will remain as it is. Okay. Two will remain as it is. See here, and this is sp hybridization of this carbon, and this is one more sp hybridization of another carbon. Okay, so sp hybridization is linear. This is the red color, linear. It is linear. So this is also linear. Okay, so this hybrid orbital of a carbon will overlap with this sp hybrid orbital of this carbon. So going for the sigma bond. So once the sigma bond forms between carbon-carbon, main linkage, main strength, main skeletal, main framework, then one more hybrid orbital of carbon is there, no? That is with one hydrogen this side and one hydrogen this side, going for the C2H4 sp hybridization, linear 180 degrees. Then these two are khali, okay, supportive. So they will undergo sideway overlapping. So sideway overlapping gives the pi bond. So because there are two free, from each carbon. So two pi bonds are formed, that is shown at the bottom. One sigma bond and two pi bonds, linear structure. So in this way it is explained. Okay, now hybridization involving d orbitals I told you yesterday. Yesterday I told that today we are going to discuss one more hybridization where along with sp d entry is there. Okay, so how it is explained, please see here. These are the examples. Okay, so this is I have taken from the directly textbook. Okay, so totally we have 1 2 3 4 5 tabs for the 11th class. In that uh, this is one is there for your syllabus DSP2. Okay, and SP3D is there for your syllabus, and this is SP3D2 is not there, but we will see the structure part, and this is SP3D2 in the case of SF6, which is there for your syllabus, whereas SP3D2 CrF6 3 minus N is not there, and D2SP3 again octahedral. It is cobalt hexa ammonia 3 plus ion, which is a coordination compound, which is not there for our syllabus. It is 12th class, but you will have a look over the structure. Okay, which is there for the 11th class. I will explain. Which is not there, we will go to, we will see only the structure part. Okay, so totally we have four different types: DSP2, SP3D, SP3D2, and D2SP3. Okay, but here in the case of SP3D2 and D2SP3, I have written SP3D2 afterwards. After SP3, I have written D2. So in the case of this one, I have written D2 first, then afterwards SP3. So it is slightly different. So if I write D2 afterwards, it is called outer D hybridization. If I write D2 inside, it is called inner D hybridization. That we learn in the 12th class. Okay, right? So why inner, why outer? That again depends upon the strength of the complex. That we learn in the coordination chemistry of 12th class. Time being, I will not explain. I will explain only how the bonding takes place, how hybridization takes place in the case of what? Some selected examples. Okay, right. Yeah, this is PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride. Phosphorus, ground state. Okay, atomic number of phosphorus is 15. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p3. I am taking the outer configuration, that is 3s2, 3p3. 3s2, 3p3. Okay, right. Now what happens here? Principal quantum number 3 started. Okay, so 3s2 full, 3p3 half filled, but 3d is there, but khali, empty. Okay, because principal quantum number 3 started already. So 3s is filled, 3p also half filled, but 3d is there, but khali. So to account for the sp3d, because in this what hybridization, 1s is taking part and 3p are taking part, along with 1s and 3p, d also is taking part, one d orbital. So how to account for the d orbital? For that we have to promote. We have to promote one of the 3s orbitals to the 3d khali. Okay, so this one electron from the 3s is promoted to the 3d khali. So that is shown here. It is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Now 3s2 become 3s1 because one is promoted. So 3p as it is. So that the promoted will go to 3d khali, 3d1. So using the box diagram, it is 3s1, 3px1, 3py1, 3pz1, 3d1. Okay, so now they are ready for the hybridization. So 1s orbital, that is 3s, and 3p orbitals, that is 3px, 3py, 3pz, and one d orbital, all together sp3d. So they will undergo hybridization. After mixing everything, they will go for the one special structure, and the structure is shown here. Okay, structure is shown here. So which structure this is? This is the structure of PCl5. Namaskar, sir. So see here, okay, P. So this structure is called what? Triangular bipyramidal. Triangle is here at the base. Okay, triangle if you join. So this is the orbital picture, and this is the actual picture we draw in the class or in the making notes. So when you join the three chlorine atoms which are there on the base, that becomes the triangular base. And one above the chlorine, sorry, phosphorus, one below the phosphorus, two chlorine atoms. Okay, right. So when you join this chlorine to the three vertices of the triangle, and the bottom chlorine to the three vertices of a triangle, that becomes triangular bipyramidal. That's why the name given to this geometry is triangular, triangle base, and the two pyramids, one pyramid above the phosphorus, one pyramid at the bottom. Okay, so totally two pyramids are there. That's why it is called as a triangular bipyramidal. Bipyramidal, bi means two. So in this way, we can explain sp3d in the case of PCl5. But one point is here, out of the five, PCl5, five chlorine atoms, three are on the triangle. Okay, so they are called as equatorial chlorine atoms, and two are one above, one below. That is on the pyramid. They are called as axial chlorine atoms. Okay, chlorine atoms which are there on the tower, that is the pyramid, they are called as axial chlorine atoms, and chlorine atoms which are there on the base, triangular base, they are called as what? Equatorial chlorine atoms. Okay, but here if you see the bond length parameters, so this is slightly away from the phosphorus. So bond length is more than these three chlorine atoms which are there on the triangle. Therefore, when you compare stability, so stability of these two chlorine is slightly lesser than the three chlorine atoms which are there on the triangle. That means what? That means out of the five chlorine atoms which are there in PCl5, three are slightly stable and two are slightly less stable comparatively. So because the two chlorine atoms which are there on the pyramid, because they are slightly unstable, so they can be removed easily just by heating. That means what? That means whenever we heat PCl5, immediately it decomposes into PCl3 and Cl2. So chlorine gas comes out. So sometimes you'll ask why PCl3 is slightly unstable compared to PCl3. So why PCl5 is slightly unstable compared to the PCl3? It is because of what? Structure part. It is because of what? Structure part. So the two chlorine atoms which are there on the pyramid, they can be removed easily just by heating. It is because of what? Bond length. Okay, it is because of what? Bond length. Okay. Right. This is what PCl3, that is sp3d2. Now yesterday I told one more is there for your syllabus, SF6. SF6. Okay. So here sulfur has undergone hybridization. Which hybridization? It is sp3d2. sp3d2. Okay. How to explain sp3d2? Okay. First sulfur. Sulfur is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2 and 3p4 because sulfur belongs to oxygen family. So it is 3s2, 3p4 general electronic configuration ns2 and p4. Accordingly, it is 3s2, 3p4. Okay, right. So that I wrote here only the valence electronic configuration 3s2, 3p4. Okay, now I have to account for hybridization. No, what is hybridization here? It is sp3d2. So 1s, 3p and 2d have to undergo hybridization. So 1s means this s is already filled, paired. So I have to make unpair or I have to make busy d orbital. So to fulfill all these conditions, promotion is a must. Promotion is a must. So therefore I have to promote one of the 3s electrons. Okay, from 3s to the 3d, one khali. Okay, so making 3s to 3s1 here. Okay, so 3s2 became 3s1 now. Now 1d is okay, 1d became unpaired. We promoted. Now I have to account for 2d orbitals because 2d orbitals are participating here. So how to account? Now I have to promote one more paired here in the 3p. So one of the electrons of the 3px is promoted to the second 3d khali, 3d empty. So thereby making two unpaired in the 3d, that is shown here. Now this became unpaired, this became unpaired, this became unpaired, all unpaired. Okay, all unpaired. Totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are unpaired. Those 6 unpaired will make a bond with the 6 fluorine. So in this way, sp3d2 is explained in the case of sulfur hexafluoride. Okay, so in the sulfur hexafluoride, it is 1s orbital, that is 3s, and 3p orbitals, that is 3px, 3py, 3pz, and 2d orbitals, that is 3dxy, 3dyz. They will take part in the hybridization, and that is shown here. You please see here. Okay, now they are paired. Before it was unpaired, they have undergone hybridization, sp3d2, and a structure is made. So hybrid orbitals are formed. How many hybrid orbitals? It is 1s, 3p, and 2d. 2 plus 3, 5 plus 1, 6 hybrid orbitals are formed here, because these are the 6 atomic orbitals ready for the hybridization. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After hybridization, 6 are formed. So again, this condition is maintained here. So those 6 hybrid orbitals of sulfur will make a bond, will overlap with the 6 fluorine atoms, and then they become paired. This is what sp3d2 hybridization. And structure is what? Geometry is what? Geometry is octahedral, best octahedral. Okay, so this is 4 orbitals here. They make a base. So they make a base, one above, one below. Okay, red color is sulfur. So one here, one here, one here, one here. It is a square base, and one above the square, one below the square. So here one fluorine, second fluorine, third fluorine, fourth fluorine, fifth fluorine, sixth fluorine. So all 6 fluorine will come and make a bond. It is the p orbital of the fluorine will go for the bonding with the hybrid orbitals of the sulfur, and it looks like this. It looks like this, sp3d2. So square base and 2 pyramid. Square base and 2 pyramid. If you draw imaginary line, so it looks like this. Sulfur at the center of the square, and on the 4 corners of the square, we have the 4 fluorine atoms. Okay, and one fluorine atom above the sulfur, and one more fluorine atom is there, that is at the bottom. So if you join the lines, all the 4 vertices, it looks like a pure octahedral. Octa means 8. So 8 corners are there. 4 corners at the base, and 1 corner on the top, and 1 at the bottom. Okay, it is octahedral. So how to explain 4 corner? So 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bottom. So in this way, 4 above, 4 below. You please bring 3D picture imagination. So that time it looks like a 4 cornered. So sp3d2 sf6 is explained in this way. It is octahedral or square bipyramidal. Square base, 2 pyramids. Square bipyramidal is also called as what? Octahedral. Okay, right. So I think this is explained with the diagram. So now what is there here? This is what? sp3d2 orbital picture of sf6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 square base, one above, one below. So all those orbital picture. This will not ask in the examination. Okay, so only this diagram, which diagram, the line, when we join the line, no, so that is asked in the examination. Okay, so this diagram will not ask, no need to. This is important, electronic configuration and this line joining structure. These two are important from exam point. This is only from knowledge point, how it looks in the spectroscopy. These two are the most important scientists. Okay, so now we are going, or we are entering into the last theory of chemical bonding, that is most important, still better, so more refined, okay, more purified, more rectified. Okay, so already we discussed a valence bond theory by taking many examples. Okay, so we have taken the water, we have taken the ammonia, we have taken the methane, ethane, ethene, ethine, PCl5, SF6. So many examples are taken, and also we understood the pi bond, sigma bond, positive overlap, negative overlap, zero overlap. So all these are the topics of what? Valence bond theory. Okay, now Millikan. Okay, so Millikan explained molecular orbital theory. So molecular orbital theory also almost same, almost same. Hmm. So it is also what highlights on the sharing and the overlap. All those points are same. But one important feature, special feature of a molecular orbital theory is what? Using this theory, we can explain the magnetic property. That way, once again we learn in the 12th class under the chapter solid state. Okay, so now in brief I will give magnetic property is due to the two important properties of the electron around the nucleus. This you learn in the physics also. Okay, but in the physics you learn in detail, but here I am giving just an idea how magnetic property are explained in chemistry. Okay, using the electronic configuration. Okay, right. So around the nucleus we know that electron spends time. Okay, right. Now electron will have two property I told. Property number one, orbital motion. Orbital motion around the nucleus, it is taking rounds, so in a random. So according to Heisenberg, okay. So that orbital motion and one more is there. So electron on its own axis spins anti-clockwise or clockwise, anti-clockwise or clockwise. Okay. So how Earth spins around the sun, like that. So here electronic spin property, electronic orbital motion property, these two properties are the reason for the what magnetism. So they develop magnetic character. It is because of what? Spin of an electron and orbital motion of an electron. Okay. So still we learn once again in the 12th class, and in the 11th class I don't know whether syllabus is there. If it is there, certainly you will have an explanation with physics department. So there we learn in detail, because electricity and magnetism are the favorite chapters of the physics. Okay, right. So magnetic property is well explained by the molecular orbital theory. That's why it is having a edge over the VBT. Others are the 90% the same. Okay. So one property, that is a magnetic property, is not explained properly by the VBT, but that is explained by the MOT, molecular orbital theory. Okay. So in any ion or any molecule or any species or any particle, okay. So please note down how many electrons are there, the first point. Okay. In any particle, first you should know how many electrons are there. So once you come to know the number of electrons, please draw electronic configuration. So once you draw the electronic configuration, so after writing the electronic configuration, you please see anywhere unpaired electrons are there, whether all are filled orbitals or half filled orbitals are there, or unpaired single electrons are there, that you check it. By chance, if you find, if you see, if you feel, if all the orbitals are filled, paired, it is diamagnetic. Means it is not repelled or experienced by the magnetic field. That means when the sample is kept in the magnetic field, it is not attracted. It will not feel the magnetic field or the magnetic force. Okay, that is called what? Diamagnetic. Time being, I will explain. Okay, if we have the paired electrons in the electronic structure of a particular sample, and if that sample is kept in the magnetic field to check the magnetic property, it will not have any magnetic impact. It is called diamagnetism or diamagnetic in nature. By chance, in a particular sample, if you find unpaired, at least one unpaired, if more are there, no problem. If at least one unpaired electron is there in the electronic configuration of that sample, it will be attracted or it will be experienced by the magnetic field if you keep in the magnetic field that sample. And that is called as what? Paramagnetism, or the sample is called as paramagnetic. If paired, diamagnetic. If unpaired, paramagnetic. And this is explained by the MOT. See, why MOT is special? Once again I will explain. Let us take the example of oxygen molecule O2. O2, if you see, we never thought that O2 will have the magnetic property. It is a gas, It is a gas. So normally in our mind, metals will have attraction power. That is although now the advanced theory is there in the magnetism in the 11th and 12th class. So where we explain on the basis of what? Electronic configuration or the electronic theory. Okay. So there what happens in the chemistry? So oxygen is paramagnetism. How to explain this? They came from the experiment, but how to explain? VBT will not have any answer for the magnetic property of the oxygen. So it is the MOT we'll have answer. So that will discuss how MOT is made use in explaining the paramagnetism property of oxygen molecule. That means if it is a paramagnetism, that means we expect unpaired electron, single electron somewhere. Okay, right. Let us see.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
What if a strong magnetic force is applied, sir, to diamagnetic force?
No, when you that is not the problem here. You keep you take a bar magnet, you create artificial magnetic field. Huh? So create a magnetic field. So in that field, that means north pole of the one bar magnet and the south pole of the another magnet, you keep a little apart. So they will have a magnetic field. There you keep a sample and then you check in the spectroscopy. Okay. So there you see the movement of that magnetic field. You can see around using pencil. You can draw actually in the physics I have learned. So using pencil, you can draw the imaginary line. The particles will spread in space. Okay. So they will take a particular shape by joining the line. So we, from magnet to magnet around the oxygen sample, you will see that magnetic lines of force. That is that by
Is it only applicable to paramagnetic, sir?
yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Correct. You are right. So because they have the unpaired, so electrons of the magnet, electrons of the this sample, so they will align in a particular domain. So then they will go for pairing. So in doing so, all these will happen. Okay. So that is shown only in the physics experiments. I think you will do in the 11th and 12th. So I have seen once I have seen with Kinnal sir. So in the laboratory, where our boys, where our students used to do experiments on the magnetic fields. Okay, that is it is there. Okay, so the moment you join the school, if conditions are very happy, friendly, so certainly we will enter the laboratory, and in the physics especially, you will enjoy the magnetic field. Okay, so till then, please hold. Now what I am explaining. So what you said is correct. Whenever they have the unpaired electrons, they are called as what? Paramagnetic. Okay, right. So this is what MOT. You please see the background figure. So how MOT is explained with that diagram. Okay. So in the VBT, we don't explain like this. What we explain? So one electron of the one atom, one more electron of the other atom, they will share. That's all. So, but here you see the picture. Okay. So please look at the picture here. Beautiful picture at the background. Okay. So these two nuclei of reacting are going for the bonding. So these two nuclei belongs to the entire structure. You see the electronic cloud. Electronic cloud is surrounded here. Okay. That means what? Electrons and the nuclei belongs to the both. That means that this structure where we have nuclei together, electron together. So sense of together is more here. So once we go for the bond, once we go for the attachment, we belongs to both. That feeling of both is there here. But in the VBT, only electrons are shared. That's all. Remaining will keep quiet. That feeling is there. That's all. So attachment is around 90%. Here attachment is 100% here. So my electron, your electron, my nucleus, your nucleus, we are together. That feeling is there. That's why it is more better than the VBT. That we learn in the higher class when we take a BSc as a chemistry as a special subject. Beautifully, Puri and Sharma book is there. There is a book known as the Puri and Sharma, and one more book is there, Atkinson. Okay, foreign author. So beautiful textbooks are waiting for you. Very thick book, going for 1,000, 2,000 pages. Okay, but nowadays we have the PDF format of textbooks available in the net. Only thing is you have to go for some special website where important books are available on the net. Okay, right. Now net is the best friend. Yeah. Okay, now let us understand all these about the MOT. I think my WebEx is saying today I explained a lot by taking yesterday's example. Yesterday's example I took, that's why it is saying a few minutes are left to wind up the WebEx. So what to do? So what I do, today only I will try to complete by requesting to some other my colleague, staff member. If they permit, I will take one more period. So that I will see. Let me speak to the concerned period sir in charge or madam in charge. So if they permit, I will join because my aim is to wind up today chemical bonding for the 11th class, solid state for the 12th class. This is my aim. So I am going to wind up a solid state. Small chapter is left, a small bit is left. So 12th class I am going to wind up. But 11th class more slides are there. So MOT I have to explain with diagram. So I require one more session because yesterday's session I lost that technological problem. No? So I will request one session, sir or madam. I will come to you. Okay. So now before it winds up, I am only winding on my own so that in the next session I will try my level best to join today in the periods so that we'll discuss and we'll wind up. So thank you, my dear students.